Upland fans, it's happening right now, and it's happening this year. The trend of all the hyped metaverses, Decentraland, Sandbox, they have all this money in their crypto token. The trend is starting to go where it's always needed to go, and the bear market has exposed exactly what that is. And I just want to point out, I have been bullish on Upland since day one, since I heard about it. And I've never looked back, and I've never really given up hope. I know I quit making videos for a little bit, had a baby, had a good reason. But look, I have always been bullish on Upland, and it's finally happening where the media like this, Crypto Daily, is starting to realize that Upland truly is a leader. Look at this. The 3 metaverses to look out for in 2023. Upland is number 1. Decentraland is number 2. And the Sandbox is number 3. I personally would have put the Sandbox above Decentraland. And I don't even know if this is ranking them. This is just the order they wrote the article. But this truly is starting to expose exactly what I've been saying all along. And I just quickly want to point out that I believe I have put my money where my mouth is more than probably every single one of you. Every single one of you Upland fans, prove me wrong. I'm actually going to show you some stuff today about myself personally that I just want to put into perspective. Here is mint.com. This is a budgeting tool, and this is where I have all my personal finances linked. I'm not worth that much money. A lot of people may not realize that, but here's my total value in assets in July, August, and September. My total debts, and my total net worth. It's fluctuated from 70 grand to 40 grand. I am not worth, let's say at most, I'm worth $150,000. This has pretty much all of my investments, including crypto that I have linked through Coinbase here. And all my other investments are right here. So let's look at how much money I've put into Upland. $49,000. I'll scroll through all my transactions here if you want to pause and see all of them. By the way, I put money in through the iOS app. Do not put money into Upland and buy UPX through iOS or Google Play, or you will pay fees that are essentially taken by iOS or Apple App Store and Google Play Store. But here's all my transactions. And here's the total in, 49,000, and the total money I've taken out is 27,000 for a net of 21,000 that I still want to get out so that I'm kind of playing with the dealer's money, playing with house money, as they say, you know. But look at that. I've put a third of my net worth into Upland because I am that bullish. Find me another person who's only worth as little as me, who's put nearly as much as I have. I guarantee you there's not a single one. So, and now I will explain why. And I've seen this from the beginning, and I don't understand why people don't see this. Upland, probably one of my biggest reasons is that you have Dirk, who has a PhD in economics, who understands currencies specifically and how they work. Therefore, he would see how blockchain currency should be used and should be implemented into a metaverse, into a digital world. He understands what makes up an economy. And he explains this very simply. The core principles of economics: land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship. You have to have those 4 things. I don't know why this is so hard for people to understand. The other thing I want to point out is that the main currency you use to invest in properties in Upland is an in-game currency, an in-game coin called UPX. That is how you buy and sell properties. Decentraland and the Sandbox both have crypto tokens. Decentraland has mana, and Sandbox has sand, and these are how people buy and sell properties, land in the game. I want you to understand why for so long I have understood why this is a bad idea. And why Upland, even though so many people complain that UPX needs to be on an exchange, you need to be able to trade it. Hey, look, there's a reason why the US dollar is not in the stock market. It doesn't fluctuate up and down. They've said from the beginning that UPX is pretty much synced to the US dollar, and they even said unless some major economic issues happen in the United States, the US dollar pretty much runs the global economy. And until that changes, Upland has decided to kind of stay in line. So UPX is just like the US dollar, but it's the digital version of the US dollar. So meaning, if you were selling your house in the real world, you in the United States and you're looking to sell it for, let's say, $1 million. If the US dollar was in the stock market constantly fluctuating, going up and down, today the value's here and the value's here tomorrow, and then someone buys your house when it drops, you just lost a ton of money. This is the issue I've always had with Decentraland and Sandbox. It's not really buying and selling properties, coming up with a strategy, because you're pretty much just playing the stock market. No matter what you buy and sell, yeah, you can take advantage of that, but it's the same reason why it would never work if the US dollar was tradable in the stock market. It just would not work. So I wanted to point out a few things from this article. The first thing that really stood out to me is obviously the trajectory of the metaverse that we're going to see. Many analysts believe that the space could generate up to $5 trillion over the next 7 years. So let's say at most, and I'm being very conservative when I say the metaverse is currently worth, let's say even 500 billion, which I don't think it's even close to that much. That is still 1/10 of the trajectory that we have over the next 7 years. So, I think it's more like 1/20th, 1/30th. So we're going to see 20x, 30x, 40x, 50x on what the metaverse is at currently. So we're still so new into this. The space has not really even taken off. It's been all hype coins, the bear market, and just kind of stupid crap. But you've had Upland here going steady, going strong, and it's why I continue to believe in what Upland's doing. So let's go to DApp Radar here and actually compare again Upland, Decentraland, and the Sandbox, and actually see this is the most reputable, I'd say probably the most popularized place to actually see what's happening with these games and these wallets. So the number one data point they're always making is unique active wallets. The number of unique active wallets interacting or performing a transaction with a DApp smart contract. So in the past 30 days, let's look at Upland, 92,000 active wallets. Okay, let's go to the Sandbox for the same 30 days, 3,000. And let's go to Decentraland, 3,000, almost 4,000. So you can see that is a massive difference. And then let's look at the amount of transactions in the past 30 days. This to me is probably the most important number because it shows of all these metaverses how much activity is actually happening within the metaverse. How many people are interacting, exchanging information, exchanging properties, exchanging things that they own, digital assets with each other. This really shows if the economy is actually working. Like you could look, if no one in the world were buying and selling houses right now, what would happen to the real estate market? When there's a lot of transactions happening, that is good. That is good for the economy. People are moving. So let's compare it to the real world economy. Almost 6 million transactions in the past 30 days. Sandbox with less transactions than active wallets. I mean, that's embarrassing, frankly. And then Decentraland with 3,000 active wallets and 72,000 transactions. Again, 72,000 compared to 5.93 million. These are astronomical differences. And I think another thing that's really interesting to point out is let's talk about the leadership of all of these companies. So let's go back to Upland. You have Dirk, the co-founder and co-CEO at Upland, author. Let's look at their LinkedIns, right? And actually see what they promote that they're about. Look at all the activity. 5 days ago, 1 week ago, 2 weeks ago, Dirk is constantly posting about Upland. He shows full-time job for the past 5 years at Upland. This is not new. It's not a bear market, bull market thing. They have been all about this from the day they launched it. And he's also the co-founder and chairperson of OMA 3, which is bringing all the metaverses together. And he's really at the head of this, leading the discussions, helping facilitate all the decisions for what should happen with the open metaverse and how they should interact with each other. So, like, what a unique advantage that the head of Upland is also the head of OMA 3, which is deciding what all these different metaverses are doing. I mean, you have Animoca Brands involved in all three of these companies who kind of helped put Dirk at the top of OMA 3. That alone should tell you more than I need to say, okay? And then you have Idan Zuckerman, who's kind of the head of technology at Upland. Again, present, full-time job, co-founder and co-CEO of Upland. It shows that it's what they're all about. Okay, now let's go into the founders of Sandbox. Borgit Sebastian, co-founder and COO of the Sandbox. And it's just interesting if you look into, the Sandbox is definitely, I mean, if you look at what they've been interacting with, I'm not as convinced that they're all about it. However, the Sandbox, pretty good. I mean, they're involved in a lot of stuff. Arthur Madrid is obviously the acting CEO. I don't know if he's a founder by any means of the Sandbox. But they're also all involved in this Pixowl, which I think is the creator of the Sandbox. So I'm not exactly sure how that works. And they're also heavily involved in Animoca Brands, the current leadership of the Sandbox. But Decentraland, I mean, this is where it just gets kind of like, I'd be scared if you're looking at, it kind of says part-time advisor for Ari. And it kind of looks like he's all in on this Big Time Studios project. And then Esteban Ordano, again, part-time advisor. This kind of thing would definitely like scare me if I were heavily invested into Decentraland. To see the leadership is not really still involved, still heavily interacting. And I don't know. I'm just basing this off of LinkedIn. But this is the kind of thing I do when I go invest in something. I do all my research. I research the leadership. I research their background. And I'm telling you, Dirk is the number one reason, personally, for me. And I know I'm not speaking for what everyone makes a priority, but for me, the fact that PhD in economics, did his thesis in currencies, understanding currency. I think this is so important. I cannot stress this enough, that I have always seen that Upland has understood these currencies, regulations around the SEC and stuff like that, that they're making the right moves and will continue to make the right moves. And they're not going off of this BS hype around all these crypto tokens, crypto coins, crypto projects. He wrote a book on navigating the metaverse. I highly recommend it. I loved it. I learned a ton about how the metaverse works by reading that book. And everything that he's involved in, and his, you can see his education right here, Doctor of Philosophy, PhD in economics. It makes so much sense to me. And honestly, I wouldn't be investing in any project that's related creating the world's first and most powerful digital currency that really like allows the virtual world, the metaverse, to exchange goods with one another, and where entrepreneurship and land and labor all exist. Upland is the only one doing this and the only one doing it well. Get it through your head. I can't hype it enough, and I feel like it's going to continue to become very clear. And I loved seeing this article, top 3 metaverses to watch out for in 2023. Thank you for putting Upland in the #1 spot, because it truly is #1, in my opinion. This is not financial advice, but it's my strong personal opinion. Hope you enjoyed, and as always, hope to see you in the next one. I'm back. I'm going to continue making regular videos. You can count on it this time. So we'll see you again soon. Peace out.